By the bustling pier, hawkers' cries rose one after another, creating a lively scene. Just a wall apart, inside Lotus Pier, the same bustling crowd thronged about, with voices calling out to brothers and sisters, laughter and playful scolding rising and falling. Mixed with the clangs and clashes of sword blades on the training ground, the summer lake breeze carried a sense of carefree joy. Another wall separated a small courtyard where the Gusu Lan family rested. Here, the worldly hustle was starkly absent. The courtyard was quiet and serene, devoid of human voices, only the faint sound of a zither drifting softly from inside. At that moment, someone stepped out from the main room. After taking a few steps toward the gate, he paused, then turned and went to the east wing. Lan Wangji opened the door, and Lan Qiren said, "I'm stepping out for a moment. You keep practicing the zither. Practice seriously. I heard several mistakes just now. Lately your mind hasn't been focused. Even your studies have become slack." Lan Wangji nodded. "It's my mistake." Lan Qiren nodded approvingly. "It's good you know. Also, don't go out unnecessarily, and don't let people in. Stay inside and catch up on your studies, understand?" Lan Wangji replied, "Understand." Lan Qiren strode out of the courtyard. Once the gate was shut behind him, he glanced around nervously, tugging on the door ring as if wanting to lock it tightly. But since it wasn't his own home, after a worried look, he reluctantly left. Inside the courtyard, the east wing door also closed. Lan Wangji sat upright before the desk, practicing for a moment when a black shadow dashed to the door. "Lan Zhan! Lan Zhan! It's me! I'm here again!" The zither's melody gently stopped. The person outside said again, "Why won't you open the door? I know you're inside. I heard the sound of zither. Lan Zhan, I was a bit harsh yesterday. Sorry about that. About those paintings. I drew you in the erotic scroll, but it wasn't meant to shame you. Look how beautiful I painted you. How could that be humiliating? Well, I know your family is old-fashioned and might see things differently, which I can understand. So, I come to apologize." The slender fingers on the strings faltered slightly. "Really, I brought you a gift. I stayed up all night working on it. I guarantee you'll feel better when you see it. Open the door, please." The fingers on the strings raised slightly, sending forth a ripple of notes, serenely flowing as if to say, "No visitors." The door knocked again sharply, and a voice muttered outside, "Why practice the zither and ignore me again? What good is playing it well if no one listens? Better to chat with me and make a friend." A clear, resonant string of notes rang out, rushing through the door as if to refute. Wei Wuxian could guess without knowing musical language. It meant, "Go away," and "no making friends." Muttering continued outside for a while. The black shadow still refused to leave, clutching something, plopping down on the stone steps and muttering to himself, "I waited until old man Lan left before coming in. You don't know how long I waited. I even finished my blind date early just to come find you. And you, still ungrateful." Out of the door, someone talked to himself. Inside, someone played the zither alone. After a moment of this strange scene, the west wing door opened, and a delicate figure slowly approached. She handed over a bamboo flute, cool and clear, saying to Wei Wuxian, "Teach me to play the flute." Wei Wuxian replied, "Miss Lan Moyan, you want to learn the flute? Great. I've been practicing recently and always carry one. You must have seen me practicing." The white figure sat down beside the black one, fragmented words mixed with flute notes drifting intermittently. Wei Wuxian said, "Play like this. Look at my tongue and where the air comes out, like this." Lan Moyun leaned closer. Their shadows on the doorframe drew nearer and nearer. Wei Wuxian, "You smell nice." Lan Moyun, "What smell?" Wei Wuxian, "It's the scent on your clothes, isn't it?" "What kind of flower is this scent?" "Don't tell me. I'll guess." Their heads almost touched on the doorframe. Bang! The door behind them suddenly swung open, bringing in the icy blast of midwinter wind that stirred the corner of blue and white, cloud-patterned robe. Lan Wangji stood at the doorway, like a god of frost and snow descending from the heavens, with hail pockmarking the ground. "Lan Zhan?" Wei Wuxian was startled, rising from the ground. Just by a glance at Lan Wangji's expression, he understood. "We were playing the flute here, bothering you. Sorry." "Miss Lan Moyun, shall we move somewhere else to practice?" Lan Moyun gave Lan Wangji a cold glance, then turned to Wei Wuxian and said, "You can call me Ah Yun. My elder sister calls me that. I'll call you Ah Xian then." Since my elder sister isn't here, Let's go to my room to practice, Wei Wuxian asked. Your room? Is that convenient? Lan Moyun answered decisively. Yes, she led him across the way. Wei Wuxian happily followed. After a few steps, he felt a chilly breeze behind him. Turning back, he saw Lan Wangji standing frozen in place, silently watching the two of them from a distance, a subtle expression written all over his face. Wei Wuxian chuckled quietly to himself, then turned to Lan Moyun and said, "Ah, Yun, I'll teach you another day. Today, I have to apologize to Lan Zhan first." Lan Moyun let out a sound that seemed very disappointed, slightly pursed her lips, glanced at Wei Wuxian, then at Lan Wangji, said nothing, and went inside. Though silent, Wei Wuxian felt a familiar coldness drifting over under the blazing sun, sliding under his collar and raising goosebumps. He thought to himself, the Lan family must all be born of ice. But ice was the best to cool down in summer. Wei Wuxian cheerfully entered Lan Wangji's room and immediately felt cool and comfortable. Lan Wangji gave him a look that Wei Wuxian interpreted as meaning, apologize properly, then leave. Weighing this silently, he thought, since he had rubbed Lan Zhan the wrong way in recent days, better to calm things down and behave himself for a bit. So he didn't sit inside and just stood by the doorway, taking out a stack of papers from his pocket and handing them to Lan Wangji. Seeing him so obedient, Lan Wangji relaxed a little, lowered his guard, and took the papers casually. But once he unfolded them, it was like being burned by a flame, and he flung them away fiercely. The papers fluttered like flying snowflakes before Wei Wuxian's eyes. In an instant, Lan Wangji retreated to a corner of the room as far from Wei Wuxian as possible. Pressed against the wall, he finally settled down, his chest rising and falling slightly, his face showing an unprecedented panic. Wei Wuxian stared blankly, fascinated by the spectacle, staring at Lan Wangji for quite a while. He almost laughed, but wasn't sure if it was truly funny. After some hesitation, he picked a somewhat wry expression, stepped forward a few paces, and calmly picked up the papers one by one. Is it really that exaggerated? These are just my erotic paintings. Lan Wangji's expression stabilized a little. He stepped out a couple of paces from the corner, no longer looking like he was avoiding a poisonous snake. But the subtle quivering of his eyelashes betrayed his inner nervousness. He spoke in a seemingly indifferent tone. What do you mean? What do I mean? Wei Wuxian blinked innocently, as if genuinely not understanding. Didn't I say that painting you in erotic pictures wasn't meant to insult you? In fact, to prove it, I even painted myself in too. If you still think it's an insult, then I insulted myself just as thoroughly and mercilessly. I even show you my own insult. Pretty sincere, right? That way, we're even. Can you stop being angry now? Wei Ying, you actually make such a joke of yourself. No sense of pride or self-respect, utterly shameless. Lan Wangji seemed so furious that these words might have been more than all he'd said since he came to Lotus Pier. Lan Zhan, why so emotional? I painted myself, not you. To be honest, those were also copies, just with the male lead replaced by Wei Wuxian himself. To show his seriousness about insulting himself, he selected some especially unruly and explicit poses. But really, why Lan Zhan was so angry in shame on Wei Wuxian's behalf? Wei Wuxian had never found a thing called shame in himself in all his life. Lan Wangji stared at him for a moment, hit by his indifferent, almost blank expression. Suddenly seemed somewhat hopeless, closed his eyes to breathe deeply, then slowly opened them again. Cold, dignified second young master Lan once more. He straightened his back slightly, said nothing, walked to the desk, sat down, and poured himself a cup of tea. Wei Wuxian folded up the drawings, sat down before Lan Wangji, still looking at him with great interest, and gradually found the earlier flustered Lan Zhan somewhat cute. Leisurely, he threw out a sentence. Lan Zhan, this painting is for you. Lan Wangji's hand holding the teacup visibly trembled. No, Wei Wuxian pouted. Really don't want it? Why doesn't your Lan family have any art taste? These paintings are so beautiful. Having said that, as if he hadn't heard Lan Wangji's refuse, he pressed the paintings under a Buddhist scripture book on Lan Wangji's desk.